Back at it with Boston has entered the chat live from the Salem 5 studio, and we have the honor and pleasure, because it is Wednesday, to chat and hang out with Lou Merloni. Lou, what's going on? You're in a different place today, running about already?
Yeah, I'm running about, doing the dad thing. I had to bring the kids into school, so I had to pull over and be safe. Talk to you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate
it. That's for the best. Just go like this while he's driving.
Right. We would honestly be in trouble if we watched you do that. But at least we have some good news to start off on, because Trevor Story opts in, which means we keep a leader and a king when it comes to the RBI category sticking around. Let's just jump off the top with, what does this mean for the Red Sox to be able to keep this caliber of a player in the clubhouse?
Well, you look around that infield, and there was a lot of unknowns. So at least you now have a guy. I think he's your shortstop, but we know he can also play second base. But this guy, I think it's nice to have him back into the fold. He was huge for you last year. He proved what he can do when he stays healthy. And I wasn't surprised he opted in. I think this is a guy that, first off, is a great human being. And I think the first 3 years, he kind of regrets how it went, or he's not happy with how it went, or he sort of feels like he owes something, right? And that's what this year was all about to Red Sox fans. Like, I just want to stay healthy and show these guys what I can do. So I don't think opting out was really an option for him at all.
Well, as a Red Sox fan, I can't put myself in your shoes who played the game, but I also felt like Trevor Story owed the organization for previous years. So it was nice to see what he did last year. But I wonder, to what extent, I guess, sort of that hometown compassion matters. We're going to continue to talk to you, as we do week after week until this is resolved, about Alex Bregman, who has officially opted out. We knew it was coming. Is he a hired gun? Is he a mercenary? Is he looking for the payday in a comfortable situation? Or is there an avenue to where he liked his 1 year in Boston enough to maybe take something of a discount? Not, well below market value, but it's like, I'm going to take a little less to stay in Boston than I would to go to Detroit or something.
Yeah, I think he is that guy. And I don't want to speak for him. This is obviously decisions that come down to it, and there'll be some financial calls late. But he seemed to really enjoy it here. At the end of the year, he was talking to guys about not, hey, what you guys need to do next year to be better. It was more of what we need to do. I think this is a place that he enjoyed his experience. I think he wants to finish his career here. I think he sort of tells Scott Boras, hey, go out and do what you got to do and use the media and manipulate the media. But in the end, do it to get as much money as you can out of Boston, because this is where I want to be. And I think, everybody works. Scott works for them to go get the most money. But every once in a while, Scott is a client like Bregman that has made his money, that has won championships, that is comfortable and knows where he wants to be. And I think it's here. So we'll see how this whole thing unfolds. But that's kind of what I'm expecting.
Lou, I think you're a tremendous analyst and host and all the things you do. I've told you. Good looking. Like, we have a bromance.
I don't know what they want from you. I honestly don't know what they want from you.
You already know how I feel about you,
charitable.
Dog. We got a bromance
Easy,
here.
guys.
So, but I think sometimes
he's not paying you. He's not giving you anything.
We don't get the Lou Merloni player hat enough. So I want you to put your player hat on, because we're sitting here and we're talking about Bregman opting out, Story opting in, yada, yada, yada. Red Sox have to make a decision here with Lucas Giolito. From a player standpoint, Lou, I have to imagine Lucas Giolito wants to be with the Red Sox because he owes them. He has to feel like, I couldn't finish down the stretch. And I was pitching well. I had a really good season. Isn't there a part of a player, Lou, that feels there's unfinished business? Business be damned. I need to come back to the team and show what I can do when healthy. Don't you think Lucas Giolito feels that way, Lou, or am I tripping?
No, I think he also just wants to be here. He loved his experience. He was pretty vocal about it at the end of the year. But you're right. When you sign a 2-year deal and year one is, on the IR all year long, you sort of feel like, hey, I like my experience. I like to come back here. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Trevor Story. The question is, do the Red Sox want him back? So this is the decision that they will have. I know they offered the QO to Nick Pivetta because he checks a lot of boxes that this pitching staff likes, right? He's still got a ton of strikeouts. He got a ton of swing and miss. Lucas, some of the numbers under the hood, aren't that impressive. You know what I mean? Some of the expected numbers. So it's like, do we want to give $22 million to Giolito to come back? If he walks, it's a compensation pick, but because you went over the luxury tax, it's now a 4th round after the 4th round, not the 2nd like Nick Pivetta, because you were under the year before. So there are some differences here. I think Giolito 100% wants to come back here. The question is, do the Red Sox want to, or do they say we take that $22 million? We trade for a number 2. We end up giving 10 to 16, depending on who that guy is, and we use it elsewhere.
Well, if you're giving the rope to make the decisions, what would make the best sense here? Because you're talking about a team, I feel like I say this a lot here, but I'm glad to say it, a team that exceeded expectations. There were some moments where fans were kind of like, oh my gosh, we're going to relive what we've already been through. They get to the postseason. Things feel much closer in reach. There's a lot of young talent. So, what do you feel would be the best case scenario in this?
I think really what factors into this, too, is Patrick Sandoval, that people aren't talking about. He signed a 2-year deal. It was one of these deals that the Red Sox have done recently where year 1, we're going to pay you $6.5 million to rehab. And then year 2, it's $12.5 million to be in this rotation. I think he takes the place of Lucas Giolito. And I think they save $10 million there, and they use it to go out and get that number 2 or wherever it may be. It's just, this rotation is deep with young kids. The bottom line is you still need a number 2, but you've got depth. So if Patrick Sandoval jumps in to that 5th spot, and when healthy was very, very good. He struggled the last year and a half because he was dealing with eventually what turned into surgery. So I just feel like from a business standpoint, you sign Sandoval. You're not paying him $12.5 million to be a lefty out of the bullpen. You paid him $12.5 million to be in this rotation. I think that's where he'll be next year.
When news dropped yesterday out in the newsroom, as a matter of fact, that, hey, notification, Jarren Duran, 1-year deal with the Red Sox. Oh, Jarren Duran, he's got a new contract. This was a formality, Lou. We know how this works, obviously. Yep. Doesn't mean he's going to be back in a Boston uniform. You couple that with just, again, this glut that exists in the outfield. Good problem to have, but you have Abreu, Gold Glove winner again. Rafaela, Gold Glove winner for the first time. Roman Anthony, his spot is as secure as anybody's. Is Duran, we know perceive him to be on the block, but do you think ultimately he is gone?
I don't think that's etched in stone yet. I think all of them, other than Roman Anthony, could potentially be mentioned this offseason in trades. And, the contract thing is weird. Like you said, it's just a formality. Even if he turned it down, he's still under contract. He's under contract for the next 3 seasons. It's a weird thing. You turn down an $8 million team option to pay him $7.8. Yeah, I don't know. There's something behind the scenes for that, but it just seems odd to me. But the bottom line I keep coming back to is if you're going after a Joe Ryan or Sandy Alcantara or a Hunter Green or whoever it may be, and the pitcher that you desperately need, and you dangle Durant and they say, no, we want Abreu, or no, we want Rafaela, are you really going to say no to that? So to me, all 3 of them are on the table. It just depends on who you're dealing with and who they like more.
Lou, I'm glad we get a chance to talk to you every week, but we sit up here every day for most of the show and we talk about the Patriots winning right now, and everyone's all about Drake Maye. Oh, Drake Maye's the second coming of Tom Brady. Oh, Drake Maye's so wonderful. Meanwhile, I'm over here, I'm like, hey, I know he got hurt, but I remember the start of the Roman Empire. My question to you is this. Assuming Roman Anthony comes back, he's healthy, picks up where he left off, just like all of us think. In this town, Lou, big picture, if you had to bet it, who's going to be the bigger star? You're kind of, you're projecting out. You're looking at the current trajectory. Is it Roman Anthony or is it Drake Maye, my friend?
Across New England or in the North End?
Ah, good. It's a great question, Lou.
Actually, I like the North End.
It's a great question, Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with the Paisans, it's going to be Roman Anthony. There's no question about it. I would say this. I would say that because I do think Roman Anthony is going to be, he's never going to have an all-star break off. He's going to be an all-star his whole career. I think he is going to be that guy. If Drake Maye continues on this same path and is a legitimate MVP candidate each and every football season, first off, we know they'll both own the town. Yep. But football is football. You know what I mean? It's like the Tom Brady effect. So even the days, who's bigger, Tom Brady or David Ortiz? So it's sort of like the great player on both teams. I think football is football. I think but I would say that it's more of a given that Roman Anthony is going to be the star. You still want to see more from, we don't know what he can do in the postseason. We all know there's been great regular season quarterbacks. He looks awesome. I'm just glad you got a quarterback and a good football team to watch every Sunday.
Lou, wasn't easy, was even unlikely at points, but ultimately the Dodgers World Series champs once again. Mookie Betts, that's 4 rings, by the way. You guys going to be remembered a Dodger, which is just weird around here. But I think the thing that everyone comes back to now after L.A. wins yet again with a $350 million payroll, whatever it is. Toronto was top 10, top 7 even, so it's not like this was the little engine that could. But Does baseball need a salary cap, or do the Dodgers continuing to do what they do and already linked to guys like Kyle Tucker, and who knows what they're going to do this offseason to go try and get another one and three-peat the thing? Does their dominance speed up another lockout?
I don't think, basically, we've had this discussion forever about baseball having a salary cap. I don't think so. I think you can tweak it. There's no question about it. I mean, we pay people in tax for going over a certain number, right? 247, whatever it is. We don't pay anybody for going under a certain number, which is, I think, a very good idea. It's like a soft floor. I think the Los Angeles Dodgers, what they have done with deferred money has changed the game, but I think owners actually love deferred money if the players want to do it. So, the greatness of the Dodgers, I thought we're going to play over 162 because they were so deep. 4 teams had better records than the Dodgers in the regular season. I thought the Stars would outplay everybody in the postseason. It went to a Game 7, an epic Game 7. So the Dodgers are an issue. The Dodgers are always also great for baseball. The ratings were through the roof. The Yankees, I played against them in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they were outspending. Well, the team's caught up to them. That team is getting older. You may have to withstand it for another year or two. But I don't see it happening. I don't. And you can talk lockout all you want because of the Dodgers, but like I said, they weren't that dominant. They did win the World Series. They did what we thought, but I thought there's more parity in the league right now than we have ever seen. Yep. Like I was thinking about going into next season. There's like 4 teams that can't make the playoffs right now, 4. And I don't think you can say that about any other league.
Yeah. Before we let you go, Lou, my biggest question being, now that the 2025 season is officially behind us, do any new names rise to the top of your checklist that could be a fit with the Red Sox for the upcoming season?
I actually like the Japanese guy out in Japan that's from the Giants, Okamoto. It's like people are like, well, we've already got Massa, and I'm like, okay, imagine if Massa was an elite defender in left field and a little more pop, which is what this guy is. I mean, then if Massa was an elite defender, this wouldn't be a problem. Go hit 275, hit me 15, go play elite defense. This kid is an elite defensive. Well, he's a good third baseman, can be an elite defensive first baseman. He doesn't strike out. He draws his walks. He's got more pop than Massa. So if like the Pete Alonso thing gets a little wild, I like to have that guy in the fold. So, I mean, that's something that jumps out to me. This in free agency, the question to me is, I just believe the number 2 guy is going to come in a trade because I think there's guys out there to be gotten. But, in free agency, there's a lot of big names if you want to spend. I just want them to trade for a number 2, and then every other dollar they spend to be on bats. Yes. And improve this lineup and change the profile. Get me more power. Get me more contact. Bring in 2 or 3 guys, and that includes Bregman.
I love it. Well, hopefully we're getting closer to some answers here because the offseason's already feeling quite long, but we know that it comes and goes quickly. The one and only Lou Merloni joining us here on Boston's Under the Chat. Lou, please drive safe with everything else you got going on today. Thank you for pulling over and chatting with us yet again.
You got it. Anytime. We'll see you guys next week.
See you, Lou.
Need some alliteration for I
love him.
Lou Merloni Wednesdays is not alliteration, but we need something.
He's just the best.
You gotta find
something there.
You
he had me at
good.
pop in the bat. As soon as he said, I don't care. Like, go get a number 2 starter and then just get me guys who can hit.
I mean, I like the
right.
last thing that obviously Shohei's a unicorn. He's literally the greatest player in Major League Baseball history as far as I'm concerned and many other people.
Yes.
But, Yamamoto out there is the MVP of the World Series. Look, Yoshida has not maybe lived up to the contract, but the Japanese guys who have obviously come in recent, I mean, we know that, it goes back to, there are so many. Matsui, Ichiro, a lot of these guys, absolutely. If we're getting rumblings that there's one that may be interested in coming over that's worth investing in, go do it,
hey,
please.
It's not an accident that the Dodgers are investing in all of them.
Right.
I mean, that's not an accident.
And Lou's not the first person to mention looking out that way. Nat Gordon has also mentioned it a handful of times.